While a number in the cathedral would have wanted to keep supporting the justice principles behind the movement, there would have been others wanting to evict the protesters and others concerned about the fabric and finances. Eventually, according to cathedral statements, they were left with no alternative. The clergy received strong legal advice that they could not negotiate with the protesters, since that might imply consenting them to staying. The chapter obeyed that advice. Health and safety officers had stated the protesters must go or the cathedral must close. And instead of talking to the protesters to rectify those health and safety concerns, the chapter closed the cathedral, the first time since the Blitz. As the editor of The Guardian said, health and safety would, of course, have shut down Jesus in an instant. The latest news is that the cathedral has reopened and senior clergy, including the Bishop of London, are supporting the legal action of the City Council to have the protesters removed. Read, cops and batons are on their way with the cathedral's blessing. Canon Fraser, one of the foremost liberals in the English church, has resigned. It's a very sad day to see the cathedral aligning itself with the interests of wealth and power and prepared to use police to remove protesters who are preaching a message so similar to our own, so similar to Jesus' message, and acting non-violently. If a similar scenario had played out in Auckland, we at St. Matthew's might have been faced with similar choices that would have been costly. I hope we would have chosen the path of total commitment. This is the choice of compromising income, events, and services. This is the choice of not being available to everyone for a while. This is the choice of incurring the displeasure of the wealthy and those afraid of conflict. This is the choice of spending money to assist with cooking, sleeping, and sanitation. This is the choice, if necessary, of defying health and safety officers, bishops, and city councils. This is the choice, therefore, of actually joining the protest, putting the church on the street, shoulder to shoulder, shouting to an outrage. With the understanding that God, at this time and place, is in that outrage, not inside the building, inclusively trying to cater for everyone, trying not to offend. If you Google Evensong flash mob, you'll see that the choir led the way. They went outside, started having actual services in the street. So here I return to the understanding of humility. For humility suggests that our understandings of God and of grace and of right and wrong are always limited. We don't know the fullness of God. We must remain open to being surprised. We must be ready when the winds of outrage blow, not to necessarily batten down with extra anchors out, but after discernment to hoist our sail, albeit reefed, and gingerly with faith head out of our safe harbor. The early church, as reflected in the Didache, understood Holy Communion principally as an act of sharing. Christ shared, we too must share. All can receive, all can share. Spiritually and politically, it was holding up a vision of justice, a vision of how the God wants us to be in the church and in the world. Right now, right here in this city, right across the Western world, there is this movement upholding that Eucharistic vision, a Mass for the world. May we always have the wit and wisdom to recognize the work of God and join it.